What is up, people of the internet? So it's been a while since we've last spoken to each other, and kind of like left you guys hanging a bit, and kind of went like in a dark place, I guess. And like I kind of just want to like lighten up the mood a bit with this and like talk about like where I'm at now and like shit like that. So, like I have these books that um I just wrote. At some point I was just like I didn't know what else to do but write. And that's like the number one thing that people just said to do also is write. So this is like from when I was really like struggling. Some of the stuff I wrote in here is some things that like are quotes that you hear throughout your life and like you just take it for granted, right? Like you just actually don't. One of the things I wrote here is real happiness exists in the moment, so choose carefully. Perfect is not a real word. Neither is perfect. Interesting. So I misspelled perfect. I wrote perfect is not a real word because perfect is not a real word. And then neither is perfect. But I wonder what I meant there. Like, I really don't know anymore. Love is the answer to everything. I still agree with that. I still think like if you just choose love, like you can never lose. Like in all sense. Be present. Your subconscious is who you really are. Our suffering can make us oblivious to the suffering of others. That makes a lot of sense. Like sometimes we're blinded by our own struggles that we forget that a lot of people have their own struggles. And when I was sad, I was trying to really like. I still like. I have depression. Like I still have depression. Like I'm still working with it. But when this was like after. So like right out of the hospital and stuff, like when I said like I was alone and stuff, I went on the internet and I was like, fuck it, like I gotta do this myself. So I went on YouTube and I just like Googled like depression and I Googled YouTube videos, TED Talks on depression, on why people are depressed. And like I had a lot of misplaced sadness. Like it's very easy to blame other people for your faults or blame other people for where you are in life and why you're not where you want to be. It's very easy. Like that's the easy route to always blame other people. But once you acknowledge that you control your destiny and only you, then you're unstoppable. But you have to stop giving those other people power because that's what you're doing. You're giving them power to control your life. But once you say no more, is no more. Something else I wrote here is give credit and learn from your feelings, but do not embrace them. Sometimes our feelings are feelings and they're valid, but feelings don't necessarily mean truth. You can't push something that's not there for sure. I have a note on Yujin, and that's the Japanese aesthetic tattoo I have right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, but whatever. You guys get the point. It's Yujin. Look it up. Yugen. And there's a lot like a meaning behind it, of course, but the simplest description I give is the sad beauty of human suffering. And I have my dog's name, Athena. I wrote Atlas before. I was thinking like Atlas, Athena. I don't know. Some more sad stuff that you guys want to hear. I wrote this quote, and I think that this quote is very important. It says, "As long as you'll love me tomorrow." And I think that's all anyone really wants, right? Is unconditional love. You know what I mean? Like today I could mess up really badly and like do really bad things. But it's all good because as long as you'll love me tomorrow. And then I just started writing down what I wanted to do with my life. I have some goals here. I wrote this poem also. When I die, please do not cry. Do not feel I'm gone when I am home. Do not miss me, for I am not far. Then I have this like Man, when I was going through this time, I was like, yo, I'm gonna live a short life. I'm gonna die like 26. So I wrote like something to read at my funeral. But looking back on it, I don't like this. Don't read this at my funeral. I'll update it. Some very important notes I have here. I'm gonna put them on the screen because this is probably my favorite page of the entire my book. The first quote is, "Learn to listen and then talk. Please take time to understand someone else's perspective." Active listening, something that I was taught in post-secondary school, which is ridiculous. Like, so many people do not know how to active listen. You know what I mean? Instead of listening, they're waiting to talk. And that is completely different than listening. Another quote is, "There are so many problems in the world that some of us can't imagine, while some can't imagine a world without them." And I think that is just to put things into a different perspective. Like, when I went to therapy, there was this analogy that my therapist had. She was a great therapist. Her name, I can't remember her name. She was a great therapist. I can't remember her name. Like, yeah, that works. But she gave me this analogy, and she said, let's say you took every single problem in your life, every single one of them, everything that you hated with your life or like was just upsetting you in life, and you put it in a bag and you threw it in the ocean. All right. Now, everyone in the world has done the exact same thing. They've taken all of their problems and they've thrown it in the ocean. But the rule is you have to grab someone else's bag. Would you do it? And that put in perspective, like, no, I wouldn't, because there's a lot worse. Like, there's so much worse. And the probability of me getting worse is higher than me getting better. I don't know how, I'm trying to really figure out how to explain myself. I hope that kind of made sense. But yeah, perspective, that's it. Another quote is, "Peace and love will never fail. Retaliation and hate is easy. Forgiveness is not." And this just goes along with, I saw a video of someone's son I saw a video of someone getting sentenced to trial, and the man had killed someone's son. And I think one of the most powerful things that I've ever seen someone do is I saw the father of the son who was murdered. He forgave the murderer because what can you do? You can't hate, like, you can hate him, of course, but hate's no good. It does nobody any good. And that was just really powerful to me. And that's kind of goes along with some of my beliefs of, like, just people don't know not what they do. Like, I don't know. I choose to see good in the world, where so many people, you can choose the bad, but I like to pretend that I choose the good. Again, I'm learning how to express myself. Apologies. And this goes right along with it. You do not have the right to hate or to judge. You have the privilege to love. To judge, to hate is a right. Like, who gave you this right to assume that you're better than people and to talk down on people and to walk with your head up? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's, man, I really don't want to step on toes here, but in some culture, I saw another video on YouTube. Like, I just have like tabs of videos in my head. It was a guy talking, when you walk with your head down. You know what I mean? Don't walk so high with your head profound. Like, walk down, walk humbly. Walk humbly. Why do you have to walk like you own the town? Do you know what I mean? Who gave you this right? We are all the same. We are all creatures. We all respect each other. No one is better than anyone else. And I understand you want to hold yourself up and be proud, but there's a difference between having humility and being conceited. You know what I mean? And we have the privilege to love. Like, love is such a beautiful thing, and for us to get to experience it, why do you choose to hate when you can experience love? It just doesn't make sense to me. And this goes perfectly along with me, is get lost in my own head. So I love to just fucking ramble, as you guys can tell. I wrote a lot of my goals because when I didn't feel motivated to do it, everyone told me to just write. And this is another quote I like. It was like a paragraph. "To be able to dream is all I need. I'm so grateful to have a reason to dream, so lifelike. To only feel those emotions in reality one can hope. But if not, leave me to dream while never falling asleep. What the fuck? To be able to dream is all I need. I'm so ever grateful to have a reason to dream so lifelike. So I understand that, like, we're so grateful to be able to daydream. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can daydream myself. Like, I always do this. I think about me putting myself in Iniesta's shoes when he scored that game winner against the Dutch in 2010. Like, that moment, like taking off your shirt, like you've just done it for your country. Like I get goosebumps. Like, you know, like I get to put myself in that moment, and the fact that I can do that is amazing to me. It's one of the beautiful things of being human, that we can just go there instantly. To only feel those emotions in reality, one can hope, and that's just what we chase in life. You know what I mean? Those things that make us feel like that, and it might be different for other people, but for me, that's the stuff that gives me goosebumps, and that's the stuff that really gets, like, I love. But if not, leave me to dream while never falling asleep. I'm going to leave that up for you guys. Anyone can interpret that, because I wrote it and I still can't interpret it. I guess I don't have it. I wrote a poem. I wrote something. I feel so much, feel all kinds of pain and sorrow. I feel for myself and all I've yet to accomplish. I wrote this in August 28, 2019. I feel really lost, but at the same time, not really. As to others perceive, I am lost. I am really just home. I've been to this place way too many times. I'm at the point of thinking about others' perspective. They must really think I'm fucked up, for they not know the thoughts and experiences I live in my head. The only way to empathize is don't. You haven't felt this pain, this uncomfort. Unusual to say the least. Very rare to say the most, but far from uncommon. I don't know whether to accept or fight. And I think that was really tough. Like I was going through a tough time where people were just trying to tell me it's going to be okay, but you know, like, you can't. Sometimes it's okay to not be okay. And sometimes hearing that is a lot better than hearing it's going to be okay. Yeah. So that's really it for what I wrote there. And I just want to go ahead and, like, talk about, like, where I'm at, like, now. Like, I'm currently on medication. I'm on just antidepressants. So with my last podcast, I really want to implement that message that, yes, you are alone. Like, no, you're not alone. You're not alone in doing it, but you are the orchestrator. You know what I mean? You can't give it to the doctors and just let the doctors do whatever they want, or let someone else do whatever. It's up to you. You're not going to get better unless you want to. Unless you do something. You have to do something. All you have to do is something. And I've gone down the path of non-medication. I've gone to psychiatrists. I've gone off them, back and forth to, I didn't know if I needed it, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, I realized you have to find what works for you. And I'm still finding what works for me. So far is good. But tomorrow, who fucking knows? But I'm going to keep trying. What else is there to do? I've laid in bed too many days already. And I'm energized now. I'm bored of that shit, man. I'm hungry. And I'm here for you guys. I mean, I'm doing this to help people. People who've been there before, who know what the fuck I'm talking about, who feel this fucking pain. Look at me in my fucking eyes. Look at this fucking pain. You see this fucking pain in me, man? Like, if you're listening to this, just imagine my eyes. But I do this for you guys, man. I do it for myself too, because it feels so good after I talk. It feels so fucking good to get all my shit out there. I don't have to hide anymore. I don't have to pretend like people don't know what the fuck I'm going through. I fucking love it, man. And I'm going to end off there. I don't want it to be too long, but if you guys have any questions, anything you guys want me to discuss, anything, hit me up, please. Hit me up on my personal account, though. It's at Given Lewis, at GIVNLOUIS. Just hit me up there, man, and I'll talk. I'll talk to anybody about this stuff. I'm still learning, like I said. Always still learning. But yeah, this has been episode 2. This has been John Lewis, and thank you guys for listening.